Hey guys, welcome back to my live stream. In this live stream, I want to answer that common question that I get of is game engine development a waste of time? So guys, without any further ado, let's do this. Hey guys, before we begin, I want to invite you, especially if you are an indie game engine developer, to join my Discord server. We have a great community of indie game engine developers, all of us developing our own game engines, and we like to help each other a lot. So if you are planning to develop your own game engine, whether you are an experienced developer or a novice, you are more than welcome to join my live stream. The link to my Discord server is in the description below. And also, when you sign up, make sure to just introduce yourself. Tell us about what you are working on. Tell us about your game engine. We want to know, what you are doing basically. There are some really cool projects, that I have seen in my Discord server. So, introduce yourself. And also, if you are looking for some resources on books that can help you develop a game engine, or some videos or articles on game engine development, feel free to go to my website, heroserrano.com. And on my website, I have a list of all the books that help me develop a game engine. I also have some videos, that can help you, and plenty and plenty of articles. So feel free to check out my website. So, guys, let's talk about this. Is game engine development a waste of time? First of all, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and also click a like button, and also post any questions that you may have on this topic in the chat. I will try to answer them. But before I answer those questions, I want to share with you my opinion on whether or not game engine development is actually a waste of time. So let me start with point number one, and this is just my opinion. All right. Basically, I'm going to share with you what has game engine development given me, right, throughout all of this 8-9 years of me working on it. All right, the first thing that had happened to me is that I have become a way better engineer than I was before I started. Let me explain why. Well, if you are in college, or if you went to college, you are going to realize or know that college is very rushed, right? You have term papers due, you have midterms that you have to study for. One day, like on Monday, you may have a midterm for physics. The next day, a midterm for DFQ, differential equations. The next day, you may have an exam for engineering exam, stuff like that. So when I was in college, I didn't really have the time to digest all of that knowledge that I was learning. Again, because everything was way too fast, way too rushed. So me working on my own game engine gave me that opportunity, that time that I needed to finally sit down and read a book and put that knowledge into practice. So I was able to slowly but surely improve my engineering skills. And I have to say that it was game engine development that actually allowed me to do that. It was not college. Yes, college prepared me for my job, but not to the point that I felt that I was ready even for my job, right? But having that freedom, of working on my game engine after work and really digesting, everything about C++, about, computer graphics and linear algebra and all that stuff at my own pace, really, has, been a really good investment, right? Because I feel like I'm a way better engineer than when I got my degree. Even after getting a job, I feel more confident, right? Even when I talk about engineering concept with other people. So that's point number one, right? I have become a way better engineer because of game engine development. Now, point number two is game engine development has taught me the value of perseverance. Let me explain what I mean. So when usually before game engine development, I was that type of developer that would always start a project, but I would never finish it, right? I was a starter, but not a finisher. I was always, starting a project, and then I would see, something, a new shiny object, right? And then I would change path, and I would start working on that particular project, and on and on and on. Well, what happens when you do that is that you basically, well, are just wasting your time. You're not learning anything, right? So I was tired of being that type of person. I was tired of being a starter and never a finisher. So when I started the development of my own game engine, I really wanted to do this, right? For me, I really wanted to prove that I was able, to focus on a project and then see it through the end. Well, it was not easy, right? Because throughout this whole process, I really wanted to give up at times, right? So, but I kept going, and that really, really, really helped me, uh, you know, uh, understand the value of just keep at it and keep going until the end. And in the end, I was very happy with my game engine, right? It has been a really, really, really great experience for me. So, point number 3 is that your biggest enemy is actually your inner voice, right? If you go, or if you go run right in the morning, right, you are going to realize that the little guy in your head that is telling you to stop is actually that it's your own mind, right? It's your own mind telling you that just turn around, stop running, and just go back home, right? Well, throughout the development of my own game engine, that happened to me quite often. There was an inner voice inside of me telling me to stop, to go and chase another project instead. And again, I wanted to stop that. I wanted to basically be able to accomplish a goal and feel proud of it. So throughout this process, I realized that my biggest enemy, my biggest critic was my own inner voice, and I was able to basically mute that voice and realize that never to listen to that voice ever again. So that's point number 3. Now, point number 4 is that because of game engine development, I was able to increase my social presence. Right, when I started, I wanted to share everything that I knew that I was learning about game engine development. So I started, posting articles on game engine development. After a while, I started uploading videos. I went on Twitch and stuff like that. And all of that has actually, helped me, increase my social media presence, which has been very beneficial to me. Believe it or not, I do get some freelance offers, right, of people wanting my services on computer graphics, on game development and stuff like that. So all of this work that I put on in the beginning has paid off, not directly but indirectly, because of one day just me simply deciding that I was going to do this. So that's number 4. Point number 5 is this: that game engine development actually helped me, create a community, right? When I was working on my game engine, in the beginning, I was working in isolation. I was working by myself. And I realized that was not the proper way to develop a game engine, because I was basically reinventing the wheel quite often, right? And I was taking the wrong path several times. And so one day, talking to other friends that had met on Twitter, right? They were also developing their own game engines. I talked to them and I asked them, hey, what do you think of us creating a community for indie game engine developers? And I remember I decided to open my Discord server, and that's how it started. And because of that, right, I have, met really cool and smart developers through my Discord server. And you have no idea that one of my biggest satisfaction is when I see, a developer joining my Discord server asking for help, and then somebody else jumping in and providing the solution and helping that person. That is a great satisfaction. I don't know if how I can even explain that, but when I see that people are helping each other because of this community, that tells me that what I started was not a waste, was something that is being providing value to people, and I really, really, really love that. And point number 6 is that, what, developing a game engine has made me very, very happy. Has given me that inner peace that I was looking for ever since I finished college, right? If you went to college, you probably had this same problem that you probably don't feel as an engineer yet. And that happened to me too. I didn't feel as an engineer at all. I felt that I I didn't even deserve that diploma, right? But this game engine development, you know, proved to me, right, that I was the engineer, the engineer that I always thought I was. The only thing that I needed to work on was on not giving up and not ever to listen to that inner voice that was basically, pushing me down. And after I was able to complete my game engine, you have no idea how happy I was. That it gave me that inner peace, that peace that I was always looking for. And ever since after that, I changed, right? Psychologically, I just became a different person. I no longer needed to prove myself in a way because I knew that I could do this and I could do more stuff if I wanted to. So because of all of these 6 points, right? The fact that I became a better engineer, the fact that I was able, to understand the value of perseverance, that the fact that I was able to mute my inner voice that was pushing me down, that I was able to increase my social media presence, that I was able to create a community, right, of indie game engine developers, which, by the way, thank you guys for making this happen. Without you guys, the community wouldn't be of any value. So thank you. And also for the fact that, I have become very, very, very happy. I don't think that game engine development was a waste of time at all. The reason why some people think it's a waste of time is because they are equating whatever time you put into something with whatever money you get, right, as a return. Now, have I gotten financial freedom because of game engine development? No, I have not. But you need to realize that it's not about the money that you're getting, right, in return, but the potential that you are acquiring, right? This is type of this is like an investment, right? My social media process on my website, for example, it went from 10 viewers a month to 10,000 a month, right? That is potential that I can in the future, benefit from, right? The fact that I now know, hang out with 596 indie game engine developers and that I know about them and they know about me is also something beneficial. The fact that I'm helping people is also beneficial. And, it's not always about money. It's about what you do for other people that matters. So because of that, guys, this has not been a waste. And if you are thinking of developing your own game engine, don't think of it as a waste. This is going to be a phenomenal experience for you. So, you should do it. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually about to release my first game that I've been developing with my game engine. It's called Go Hero. It's, the game that you see on the screen right now. I've been working on it for a while now. I love soccer, as you can tell from all of my live streams and the videos that I have uploaded. I always wear a jersey. That's because I love soccer. And actually, after this live stream, I'm gonna get ready and watch all of the World Cup qualifiers. So, all right, guys. So let me answer some questions. Let's see if we have some here in the Q&A. So, Karim, it's not a waste of time. Let me see if I can actually do this. Oh, cool. So I decided to invest some money on this new application called Ecamm Live, where I'm actually able to show the questions from people on the screen, right? I was not able to do that with OBS. So let me bring that up. Karim, it is not a waste of time as the game engine developers are simulation engineers, computer graphics, programmers, etc. All of these values and skills you can get from making an engine. That is correct. When you develop a game engine, you are going to learn so many different concepts. You're going to get really good at, understanding computer graphics, understanding algorithms, understanding how to troubleshoot, your game engine, the architecture, how to make it more efficient. You are going to learn a ton of concepts. And as you work on it every single day, what's going to happen? You are just going to improve those skills, right? Again, your programming skills are going to shoot off the roof, right? Your troubleshooting skills, your the way how you design stuff are going to get better and better. So yes, Karim, you are right. All of these values and skills are just the potential that you can get from all of them, right? Imagine when when you apply for a new job and you can show them, look, this is all what I know, right? So let's see. Thank you, Tab 10. Um, I'm in college now, and next summer I would like to pursue my interests. At the end of the day, we need to be happy. Exactly, that's what it all matters. Um, what other thing do you do apart from programming? So you are not going to believe this, but I'm a total geek. I love to program. This is how I relax right after my full-time job, which I'm also an engineer. So this is how I relax after work. Just open up my laptop and start programming. Right now, something that I'm very interested in is deep learning, um, deep reinforcement learning. This is something that this book I'm reading, and it's something that I'm really interested in. Because I've seen some videos on YouTube on how AI is revolutionary games, and I think I want to be part of that, or at least understand how all of that works. So yes, and aside from programming, the other thing that I would do, that I would usually do, would be to play soccer. But because of COVID, I am no longer in the team that I used to be. I used to play in a league, but it's going to be almost 2 years, a year and a half since I played soccer. So need to hopefully COVID dies out soon. So hey Said, hello Harold. Boom. When you started developing this engine, did you have this specific game in mind, or did you later decide to make this game once the engine was done? Okay, so I made a really big mistake, Said. So when I started my game engine, I started it number one as an educational project, and also because I wanted to do something beyond my intellectual capabilities. I really wanted to do something that I thought I could never do, and it was a test. It was a challenge that I put on myself, right? So when I started, I literally did not know what a game engine really was, right? Yes, I had to use Coco's 2D, which is a 2D game engine, but I really did not understand anything related to OpenGL and how a game engine really works. I knew literally nothing about it. So when I started, my idea was just to develop a game engine. I had no purpose in mind. I had no game in mind, nothing. I just went at it. Now, what ended up happening is that for a long time, my game engine was very generic, right? And throughout the whole development, as I was testing my game engine, I would do little demos. I did it like an FPS demo. I did a soccer game demo. I did several small demos, right? And as I was doing that, I realized that I had made a big mistake, and that is of not focusing on one particular game genre. You are not going to believe, but there are so many things that you need to consider for each particular type of game. For example, the physics between two games are going to be completely, may not be the same. So you have to set up your physics engine with different configurations, right? So you need to take that into account. For example, the physics for a soccer ball is going to be completely different than the physics that you are going to see in an FPS game, for example, right? So one that ended up happening is that as I was working on my soccer game, I realized that I had wasted a lot of time working on other components of my game engine, and I should have used that time to focus on improving parts of my components for the soccer game. So to answer your question, I started in a very naive way. And as I went through the whole process, I realized, what, I should have focused on soccer game, for example. Now, the only reason why I'm doing a soccer game is because of this. As a game designer, I suck. I know nothing about how to make a game interesting. Now, the only type of games that I really understand is soccer, right? I play FIFA, I play, games like that. So, and I also am very interested in AI, artificial intelligence, right? So, soccer game deals with a lot of AI. And because of that, I'm very much more inclined to this type of games. So I'm thinking I'm going to start steering my game engine more towards a soccer game development than anything else. Basically, because this is what I know, right? I do play other games, but not as much as FIFA, right? And this, I mean, I'm gonna assemble my football table that I got. So after, probably tomorrow, since I have the day off tomorrow. So I love soccer way too much. Now let's see, top 10, top 5. How do you break down ideas when you want to program, or is it a top-down approach that you read books and while programming at the same time? So how I do it is, I first try to get the general idea of the whole architecture. For example, I try to get the idea of, for example, deep learning, right? How does deep learning really work in a 20,000 feet overview, right? Once I have that idea down and I understand what I need to work on or the components that are involved, then I dive deep into them, right? Now, how do I program? Believe it or not, I do not program in front of the computer, right? What I do is I literally have my notebook right here and I have a pencil and I start basically sketching down, my logic for the components that I'm going to program, right? Once I have a really good sketch of how my component is going to work and all of the things involved, that's when I start programming, right? My idea is already in my head, it's on the notebook. And when I start programming, I already know exactly what I need to do, right? But I go from the top down, right? I get a really good idea and then I slowly go down the chain. Now, one thing that I do not like to do, I do not like to basically copy and paste the idea from other books, right? I may read about how they did it, but I don't copy it, line by line. Because as an engineer, right, I don't know if everybody else has this problem, but as an engineer, I want to do it my way, right? I want to do it how I think it should be done, right? I may hear you out, I may get your advice, but at the end of the day, I want to program it that way that I want to program it the way that I want to do it. And I think that makes engineering so much cooler because you are basically creating a whole new world, right? That's what game engine development is. You are creating this universe, right? Where you are just, dictating what goes and what doesn't go and how it goes, right? So, yeah. So to answer your question, top 10, top 5, that's how I do it. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm at 988 members as of now, subscribers, and I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers, which is a big goal for me. So I didn't think I want to reach 1,000 subscribers, and also click the like button. And the game that you are seeing right now is actually my first game that I'm actually working on. It's called Go Hero. The whole idea of this game is that you are the hero of the game, all right? You have basically a minute. Well, in this case, let's say you have 5 minutes, right? For you to score and for you to tie and win the game, right? I have always been in love with that idea that your team is losing and there's like 2 minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden you are able to tie the game and then score the final winning goal. That euphoria that you feel is insane. So I wanted to recreate that feeling in this game. In this game, basically, you are losing 5-0, and you only have 1 minute to tie the game and win it. This is my first game. I'm gonna release it on the App Store. And it's gonna be for the iOS, iPhone, and for the Macs. I hope it goes well. Hey Karim, is learning assembly worth for the game engine development process? Honestly, no, I don't think it is worth learning assembly. That is gonna be overkill, Karim. I would actually recommend you, instead of assembly, to focus on learning C. C, it is an ideal language for game engine development. If you want to use object-oriented programming, then C++ would be the next one in line. But C would be ideal. Actually, many members in my community, they are developing their game engines with C. So I have not seen anyone developing a game engine with assembly. But if you know someone, let me know, because wow, that would be very, very impressive. Like, insanely impressive. I when I started my job, I did learn a little bit of assembly. I liked it at first, but at the later on, once I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna use C now. Assembly for optimization process only. I mean, maybe yes. That would be a good idea for the optimization process. Now, when it comes to optimization process, there are so many other things that you also need to consider. For example, one thing that I learned is that when I was loading my 3D objects from Blender to my game engine, I was exporting them using the XML format. And I realized that was not a good idea, because my game engine was taking way too long to start, right? Because it was basically going through all of, basically XML takes a long time, to upload, right? Basically. So what I ended up doing instead is that I converted that XML file into binary format, and then the whole streaming process is a lot faster. So now when my game engine starts, it goes really quick, right? So that's one optimization technique that I learned how to use. I use the same technique for my serialization and deserialization. For example, right now, in the development branch of my game engine, you are able to save your game scene and also load it back. And the whole serialization, the whole saving, what I do is that I convert everything into binary format. So that way I'm able to save it quick and load it back into the scene really, really quick without having to deal with XML or JSON, stuff like that. Now the only problem with binary is that it's not human readable, so you will not understand, as opposed as to XML, right? So, hey Rajat, what are the different architecture designs using a game engine, and which one should we use for early development? So there are plenty. There's like the ECS, that is a very, very common. Many people are using that one. Now to answer which one should we use for early development. Now, here's the thing, right? And this is what I ended up doing. And when I started developing my own game engine, I did not know about ECS. As a matter of fact, I have not completely implemented ECS in my game engine. It only has parts of it, right? So which one should you use for your early development? I'll say that don't focus too much on which architecture should you use, but try to understand, like from a 20,000 feet overview, how a game engine works, right? How does the rendering system interact with physics? system and the collision detection system. How do they all interact together, right? How a scene graph that holds all of your objects um, traverses all of the objects in the graph and provides that to the game engine, right? I wouldn't focus into using this architecture, and only this architecture. I would say, what, just open up your field of view and look at everything. Say, okay, how does our game engine really works? And if you find something that interests you, then go ahead. How I did it, honestly, I was a trial and error. I started with my game engine. The first couple of tries, it was a waste. It didn't work. It was not rendering properly. The collision wasn't working properly. It was a waste. The whole design was really bad. What I ended up learning is that I needed to implement some design patterns in my game engine, and that's one thing I would recommend you to look at. Look at the design patterns. Look at algorithms. That will help you with all this. Also, keep in mind that architectures, they always have their pros and cons. So you may want to review, what are they? Hey, Dev, Praveen, how are you? Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say I read various articles on your website, and they were really helpful. Thank you, Praveen. I'm glad they helped. That was the whole point of my website, right? To help you guys, with game engine development. Now, I have fallen in love with game engine development. It's something that I see myself doing for a very long time, even when I'm like retired and old. So, all right, guys. I hope that this live stream was very helpful. I hope that I was able to convince you why developing a game engine is not a waste of time. Feel free to also, join my Discord server. If you have any questions related to game engine development, please feel free to ask it there. If I do not know the answer, which most of the times I do not, right? Members in my Discord server, they will know those answers. They most of them are very knowledgeable. They know more about game engine development than I do. So I really encourage you to join my Discord server and ask questions. That community is for you guys. The whole server is for you guys. So feel free to to share the progress of your game engine, showcase your game engine, showcase a game that you're developing with your game engine. Ask questions, share knowledge. This community is for you guys, and is of no value if we don't participate and help each other. All right, guys, thank you so much for attending the live stream. I really hope that this was very helpful. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.